Hello, YouTube. Hello, X. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, TGIF. We made it through another week. We got Jackson here by my side. Station's name is The Covered Caller. You can find me on YouTube at The Covered Caller or on Twitter at Max Convexity Man. Remember, anything you hear here is not financial advice. Please consult a licensed planner. All right, let's get this Friday morning live stream on. Let's get it going on. Let's get the screen shared, is what I was trying to say. Let's get this report started. Let's get this party started. All right, so I was just checking Twitter. So you guys heard about this yet? Anyway, you guys are all invited. It's going to be next week after the market closes, or probably I'm going to probably start the live stream about 3:45 and meet the influencers. But then at 4 o'clock, we have our first special guest on. From 4 to 4:20, we have a founder and a manager on. From 4:20 to 4:40, we have another founder and portfolio manager on. And I have other ones scheduled also. So we have I have all kinds of special surprises. You guys don't need to RSVP. This is for the fund managers, unless you're a fund manager. And if you're a fund manager, I've already reached out to most of you, but there's a couple more I have to reach out to. But if you're a fund manager that's watching this and wants to be considered, send me an email, maxconvexity@gmail.com, and I will get you in the lineup. If you are a random fund manager or a fund manager who I haven't reached out to yet, maybe I just forgot about you. I'm not real organized. I don't have an email list. I went through and I picked out the fund managers I talk to all the time. But if you want your company to be considered for inclusion, just let me know. This is not sponsored or anything. I'm not asking for any money. Like a lot of YouTubers get money to sponsor these videos. I've never done that, and I don't think I ever will. No one's ever asked me, to be honest, but I don't think I'd be interested in it. I don't need money that bad. I like to maintain my impartiality. I already get accused enough of being too partial, but it would even get worse if I started accepting sponsorships. So in any event. All right. So what is this? All right, so let's get this show on the road. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this show on the road. All right, so let's get rid of that, but I'm excited about that. I hope you guys are as well. There's 9 of you here this morning. Thank you guys for being here. Let's check in on the market. All that matters is Bitcoin, right? It's pretty much all that matters anymore. Here's a daily chart of Bitcoin. I mean, if you look right here at this low volume node, lots of times low volume nodes turn around it's a good place some people like to buy the dip back in the direction of the overall trend. Anyway, we hit kind of where a low volume node is today. There's buyers there so far because we have a little rejection tail. When I first checked it this morning, it was no rejection tail. So we'll see if that area holds up as support. That would be wonderful. We would definitely take it. I think the bulls will be trying to revert to this mean up here, revert to the mean that said whatever price that is, 90, probably 3 or something. I got my scale messed up. Yeah, 97. That'd be a good stop. But then lots of times that's a place where bears might want to step in and try to reverse the trend. But so we'll see. But we'll see if bulls can get it there. And then beyond that, of course, we have 104. But that's a big ask. Really, the most key price on the whole chart, as far as I'm concerned, is 98.1, because that kind of separates this upper balance area, centered around 104 from this lower balance area, centered around 96 and also centered around 83. When we fell out of this upper balance, we fell into this lower balance area or trading range, however you want to think of it. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Let's see here. But yeah, we did bounce. We had an economic number that came out a little while ago. Maybe that caused the market to bounce a little bit. But in the shorter time frame, you can absolutely see this gap on the chart down here, and it's a bullish gap. A lot of people didn't get their order filled. Presumably, they get a chance again. They're gonna be buyers, and so far this morning they have been. So that is good to see. The same area on the chart just incidentally also worked as a bearish gap for a while, but that turned out to be a trap. We didn't know it at the time. That so far has turned out to be a trap. So this could be a trap on the other end too. This could be a bull trap. I mean, it definitely could be. All right, so now let's look at the S&P futures. What is going on here? Did we just get a big price? Holy cow. Heck yes. Heck yes. I like the looks of that. It's only up half a basis point, but it just looks good on this chart. And I'm looking at the real time on CNBC, and it's really up about half a basis point. Yeah, or not half a basis point, half a percentage point. Anyway, but that's good. We're in breakout territory. We're up 0.5%. Right there at 6,900. Big round baby. Big round number baby. That's what I was trying to say. Let's check out NQs and see if we're at a big round number on these guys also. I like the looks of that. We're approaching 26. Heck yes. Heck yes. Now let's check out a little SPY action. Look at that, left behind the morning gap, and it's still open. Heck yes. Heck yes. All right, I'm not even going to put it on the chart, but that's awesome. That is awesome. I'll put it on the chart if it's there by the end of the day. Gaps that are open by the end of that are still open at the end of the day cause pressure in the direction of the gap. Look at this bullish gap that's open. I didn't put it on the chart, never closed. In which way's the market gone since then? There's also a bullish gap right here, an open to close gap. Never closed. It got back close to it. There was buyers there. It's just the way bullish trends work. Last week, whenever we had a bearish trend, the opposite was happening. We were having bearish gaps left behind, and it just had to go with the flow of the orders. But the flow of the orders is positive here now. Having said that, on the Qs, there's a bigger area where we were concerned that sellers might be here the first time. There's a huge bearish gap, and sellers have been there even when we approached it, like right there and right there. We'll see if the sell orders got exhausted, if people maybe have, changed their mind, cancel the sell orders. We'll know if we get here and by the end of the day we sell off, and, we'll know, yeah, the sellers are still there. But if we close on the other side of it, that's a pretty good sign the sellers aren't there. Santa Rally is here. All right, so we already got 2 comments this morning. WPay Palti Triple QI is up so far today, and DGen is saying, hey, Travel Asia. Hey, DGen. All right, so let me put my disclaimer back on here. Okay, so let's look at this. I mean, as usual, the freaking AI is not working great, but that's fine. I've called a truce with AI. It's a Christmas miracle. Everything's going to be fine. Okay, so it's kind of halfway working. Some things are working, some things aren't. Anyway, it's like I say, it's a Christmas miracle that anything's working. So I'm not going to get angry at AI this morning. All right. Right now, we can look at the total return since October. These are the diversified divas, is what I call them. And I'm mainly studying these 4 ETFs. These ETFs have, in my opinion, are my favorite ones to follow. They have really good option strategies, and they're able to switch. They have option strategies with a lot of potential. Depends on what kind of market you have, but they're also able to switch stocks in and out. So this is kind of the most fun to follow. But I also added in some other ones that I like to follow also. But these other ones either don't have a sophisticated option strategy. They do the same thing every morning, like WPay. Nothing wrong with WPay, but it's nothing wrong with LFCY. They rinse and repeat the same thing every day. But I still thought it was good to have these other funds in here to compare it with. All right. So, but as far as the diversified divas, I mean, they've been acting like divas this month. ULTI is still down at this point. even after you factor in it's up half a point today, it's still down nearly 25% since the end of October. Blocks is down 18%, but it's getting ready to catch ULTY. It's getting ready to catch ULTY that's down 17.2. And of course, K yield's really impressive. I mean, K yield, out of the four of them, K yield has done the best job so far. So we'll see how long that lasts. On a daily basis, blocks is getting hit for about 2% today, but we saw the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin's off. So that explains why blocks is off. ULTY is up a third of the point. ULTI up 40%. I get basis points and percentage points mixed up. Half a percentage point. And then K yield is up nearly a full percentage point. Good job, K yield. K yield's doing a good job. And so the understudies, I'm calling these ones the understudies. These are the divas. These are the understudies. LFGY is getting hit also. Same problem as blocks. It's pretty much 100% correlated to Bitcoin and Bitcoin type companies, DeFi type companies. But then we have the indexes. We have the parent assets, the Qs up nearly 1%, SPY up 0.5%, like we just said. Chippy up 1%, GPTY up nearly 1%, about 7/8%. Let's call it 7/8%, because that's what it is. That's 7/8 right there. It's up 7/8%. All right. And then, boy, WPay's been a good understudy. WPay's been a good job. It hasn't performed as well as K yield, but has performed better than some of the divas. They do a different type of strategy. It's not for everybody, but it works well in certain market environments. QLDY also, this thing's a monster. This thing does a certain option strategy also, but it's sophisticated, but they don't switch it in and out, and they don't switch stocks in and out. So anyway, all right. So this, I don't think this is really working, but that's fine. That's fine. We don't really need to look at that kind of stuff today. I'll do a deep dive on the option trades and everything this weekend, but for now, at least the diversified divas is kind of halfway working. I guess we could go look at, let's see. We could see the weight, but for some reason this isn't really working, but it's fine. Like I say, I've called a truce with Claude. All right. So let's look at some other stuff. We don't have to depend on Claude. I have my own thing going on. I have my own diversified divas. We can check out my own diversified divas, and maybe it'll fill in some of the areas where the other one is deficient. First of all, I just like to look at this daily change on kind of a graphical basis, and just you can see each day kind of how it's performed. This is how today's stacking up. Looking good for K yield. Just kind of like yesterday, it was looking good for K yield, but yesterday looked really good for ULTI from Rex and blocks. Looked really good. Anyway, we've already seen the rolling total return. I guess we could look at historical. I'm going to make some improvements to this also. I need to start, gosh darn it. No wonder K yield's looking so good. I had a little user error there. K yield may not look as good as it does. I was trying to update the QLDY, this one right here. They pay an option. They pay distribution twice a week. I'm just going to punch in Wednesday's number. It may be a little different. I'll go punch in the actual number later, but that'll hold the place for it. Okay, so that might change. That might change our factoring. Let's see here. Yeah, sure enough, K yield. I gave K yield for a dividend that it didn't really pay. Credit for a dividend it didn't really pay. It's still up a quarter point. Still doing a good job. ULTI is up 0.5 point and ULTY is up a little bit, but K yield's not really up as much as it is. That's the bad news. The good news is QLDY, which is who that dividend actually belonged to, is now up 1.03, where QLDY's parent is only up 93 basis points. That's because QLDY runs lightning spreads. Lightning spreads are the wave of the future. That's all we're gonna. I mean, that's what's coming in 2026. Lightning spread is a better technology, in my opinion, and I should say in a bullish market. It's a better technology in a bullish market than a covered call or even a covered call spread, which does uncap part of the upside, but that same time that means it's still partially capped. Well, the lightning spread says, hold my beer. It's not capped at all. And we can see the results of it when we go back and look at a rolling total return. The fund that does lightning spreads is actually only down 0.5%. It right now it's showing it's not even down as much as the NASDAQ is. Now, it's not going to fix it in a down market. Down market, it's lightning spreads are going to be a little bit suboptimal compared to covered calls for covered call spreads. But most markets go down and they go up, they go down and they go up. Anyway, after a long enough time, we'll see how the lightning spread does. But looks to me like right now, like it's beating its parent. So that's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive. All right, so let's look at the index buffer report. We'll do that while we're here. I hope you guys can see that. You guys can see that, right? Anything on that screen you can see, I think. I have to check back here every once in a while. Yeah, you can. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so index buffer report. So SPY's up 0.5 point. Let's see who's up. Look at this, feed and 5E every time. On an up day, they do better. On a down day, they do worse. I still don't like them. It's just because of concentration. I don't like the strategy. That is my least favorite yield max fund by far, feed and 5E, or feed is really. I could see some use for 5E maybe, but it's related to feed, and feed's a dog. Feed smells like stinky feed. All right. So SDTY is outperforming the parent asset. That's from YieldMax, and YSPY from Granite Shares. Speaking of Granite Shares, I need to ask Will Rhind to see if he'll come on the show. I just remembered that he might. I don't know. I'll send him an invite. Anyway, all right. So look at this. In the NASDAQ land, Chippy's the only one that's beating. And on the losing side, of course, is Blocks and LFGY, YQQQ. I have all of them. I have all that, and I have Salty too. I like losing stocks. I guess because I seem to have all of them right here. And Blocks is one of my biggest positions. Oh well. That's why you don't listen to things you hear on the internet. Consult a professional advisor. Things you hear on the internet are just things you hear on the internet. All right. So what are you guys doing? In your opinion, Red, Blocks is the most risky fund. Yeah, I'd say it's not as risky as ULTI, but I mean, they're in the same level of risk for sure. For sure. Doesn't mean they can't work though. I mean, it depends. Your mileage may differ or whatever they say. Hey, we got Langford here. What's up, CM Langford? You like K-Yield working on getting more? Yeah, I got more of it the other day. I bought more K-Yield and more WPay the other day. Yeah, but I like those. I also got QLDY. I got the 3 of them the other day. But yeah. You got more Blocks and bought K-Yield yesterday at the lows. Nice. Yeah, K-Yield's really working out nice. I mean, so far. All right, so let's look at some other stuff. Yeah, I don't have ULTI either. By the grace of God, like I always say, for some reason, Tasty Trade wouldn't let me buy it. And then by the time that I got it fixed, it was cratering, and then I didn't want to buy it. But I should have. I should have bought it last week. Looking back at it, I should have bought a little bit. I mean, anyway. But whatever. I'll get some. I'll get some after the next market dip. Because, man, that thing, and it's the same thing with Blocks. It's going to dip more than the rest of the high yield funds. It's riskier, but it's also going to go up faster. So it's just, just a different equation. Just a different math equation we're dealing with. All right. Well, you guys going to be at the party next week? I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be a lot of fun. On the Max Factor tonight, we're going to have Closed in Fun Friday, and I know you guys like that. I'm trying to think of what else I have to show you guys. Oh yeah, you guys probably won't like this. I don't know, but I'm doing a NAV depletion master course, or I've been working on this for like a week. Just anyway, that'll be out soon. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else we need to talk about. Let's see if this is working. Yeah, it looks like it's working right now. Yeah, I'm sorry about the bum steer on K-Yield. K-Yield was never up that much. It got credit for QLDY's thing, but still, K-Yield's doing well. I mean, it's up a quarter point. I mean, come on. The NASDAQ's up almost a point, so, but none of the divas are matching the NASDAQ yet at this early point in the day. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, NAV depletion white paper. This is the most comprehensive study of NAV depletion that's ever been done. Here's part of it right there. Anyway, like I said, I don't know if anyone's going to like that, but I'm going to make people mad on both sides. I'm jumping back into the alti thing. You can't make alti people. There's people that either literally want Jay to go to jail, or the opposite, that think it's the greatest thing ever. They're never selling it, blah, blah, blah. The truth is way in the middle. Anyway, but I don't care about all that drama and stuff. I use math to look at it, and it's going to make people bad on both sides, because there's some really good stuff about it that'll make the haters mad. Just about the math. I mean, there is objectively there's some good, but there's also some stuff that will make the haters say, I told you, So anyway, it should be a good video. I'm going to have it out later. Anyway, that's all I deal with lately. My channel's turned into the Alti channel. Okay, so Palti paid $1.30 today. You wonder why it paid over 2 times from last week. That's a good question. Offhand, I would say what's one of 2 reasons. Either they made more money on their option trades. The options they sold maybe were a higher premium, and so they brought in more. Maybe they sold them a little closer to the money, so they had compared to the week before, so they had bigger amount of money to pay out. Or the other thing could be that it's going up, and they're also, remember, you also get paid. People say these things are capped. I guess they're capped on a day-to-day basis, but it doesn't mean they can't get upside. There's a difference between, the option strategy is capped on a day-to-day basis, but between days, they adjust the strategy, they roll it. These things can get a ton of upside. So maybe it's because it's been melting up this week, and you're also getting paid. You're also getting paid for the equity improvement that they've made, because the shares or the synthetic or whatever they use has been appreciating a lot. You saw that happen with BITK this summer. So BITK came out at the perfect time, and it went straight up. In the first week, they gave out a $1.50 on a dividend. So $1.50 for a weekly dividend. I mean, that's insane. It came out to like 300% or something. He just gave you some of the money he made off his synthetic. That reverses itself in a down market. Then you got 50 cents, 30 cents. But if the market melts up again, if last time's any indication, you'll probably get more. But the option, the money that these guys pay you comes from a combination of the option premium and the upside. Like I say, these things do capture upside. They capture plenty of it. They may be capped on a daily basis, but between days they aren't capped. Anyway, all right. Redfish, you bought a lot of K-Yield at your brokers yesterday. Your wife sidetracked me when I wanted to add more in the IRA. By the time I got back, it went above my target. I'm sorry to hear about that. Yeah, K-Yield's looking a good one. So your wife sidetracked you. Does she think you're getting too heavy into K-Yield or too heavy into these high yield funds. I mean, even the good high yield funds like K yield are risky. I mean, remember what K yield was doing when the market sold off? It was getting crushed. I mean, everything gets crushed when the market sells off. It doesn't matter that Howard tries to protect capital better. You can have a manager that tries to protect capital all you want, but if the market sells off, the market sells off. That way those managers, maybe those managers don't pay out as much on a weekly basis, so they have a little bit more in the reserve. Yeah, that's definitely true. But when the market's down, all these things are going to get hit. Especially those really high yield ones that are paying 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80, because they're going for outsized returns. They're selling more volatile options. So more volatile options come with more volatile stocks. You guys know how it works. Oh, she wanted you to take out the trash. I got you. All right. Well, I don't really think I have much else to talk about. Let's see how Alti's option trades are doing. I try to save this option stuff till the end for the people that aren't as interested in the nuts and bolts of the option stuff, but I like this kind of stuff. Let's just go see how they're doing. Alti put in they have a new trade in Facebook and they have a new trade somewhere else, but since Claude doesn't have his act together, it's not updating right. But Alti has like 2 new positions. I'll try to get this fixed over the weekend, but I mean, anyway, everything's doing well today. Look at ULTI's trade is up 1.3 million. ULTY, which is fully capped, is somehow still making 1.2 million in Southern Copper. So a lot of people put too much stock in the fully capped, but then there's people on the other side that say it's because of the call spread, it's not capped. Well, no, it's still partially capped, but there's a difference between capped and able to get upside. It's 2 distinct things. Anyway, but yeah, look at this one. These guys are killing it. I mean, they are approaching where they're capped out at, but it's Friday, so they did this one perfect. They'll probably roll it into next week if they still want copper exposure. That's a beautiful freaking trade. ULTY, great job. The Credo trade is doing well. This just has 1 contract in, and this is ULTI's Credo trade. Oh, no, this has real contracts. Okay, this is 18 contracts. Same thing. It's, here's an example of something that's partially uncapped. It's kind of capped, but then it's, if it goes up really far, it's partially uncapped. The ULMAX and the ULTI strategies are partially uncapped. The block strategy is not capped at all on the upside, at least with the individual stocks. It is with their with the ETFs, but they have 65% stock in the portfolio and some capped. I don't have one of their trades in here right now. Here's ULTY's JBL trade. They put this on yesterday. This is making a smooth 500,000. I mean, 3-leg collar, is it totally capped? Yeah. After this 1 point, doesn't mean it can't get upside. No. The market goes up, it can double. I mean, it's up 500,000. If the market goes up another 5%, it should probably won't, but if it were to, they could triple the amount of money they make. So the trade's not, difference between being capped and being able to get upside. And difference between, they are capped on an intraday basis, of course. But between the days, you have to look at the bigger picture. Anyway, so JBL, Micron, this one's up $200,000. This one's not doing quite as well, probably because Micron's not doing quite as well. 100% dependent on the stock. Micron goes up 5%, this will be worth $1.2 million. Micron goes down 5%, this will be a loser. These are just bets on the individual stock. People get too hung up on the credit's good and stuff. That's part of it, but it's still just a bet on the individual stock. And look at old Iron. Boy, this one's beautiful. So yeah, these guys are approaching the place where they're capped, but not capped yet. And this doesn't expire till next week. So, if this goes up another, let's run forward to Monday. Here's Monday. Okay, so let's say this goes up 5% next week. Trade's not capped. The trade's making $1 million now. Goes up, 5% on Monday or something. It'll be worth 2.8. Not capped. Trade's not capped. you know, or it can still get upside. There's a difference between capped and the ability to get upside. All right, let's see here. ULTY doing pretty well since the split. It has nothing to do with the split though, but it has been. It has been. It has zero to do with the split. The only reason ULTY is doing better is because the market's doing better. You know, and you could also look at their stock selection and say maybe that aligns with your goals more than the other one. But the reason all of these are doing well is because the market turned around. Yeah, life's are good at that. I hear you. All right. Tiger saying K-Yield has been amazing so far for me as I combine that WPay with YMAX and my largest holdings. I give you, you're somebody like me. You like diversification, I can see, because YMAX, you just get all of them. I mean, I don't care that YMAX has Murray. I mean, there's always going to be in any group of 60 stocks, there's always going to be one that's doing the worst and one that's doing the best. That's how indexes work. I mean, it just, anyway, you know, WPay has some bad ones in there too, but this year's bad ones might be next year's good ones. So anyway, your largest holding, I'll give Alti some time to figure out, but your plan is to use Alti, would be a slight boost weekly. I mean, I think we've pretty much seen, I mean, what they're going to do to it. They put in some more stable stocks. I was hoping they would lower the dividend, but they didn't. So Alti's still going to have the same uphill battle it's always had. Granted, maybe the more stable stocks can align with your, with you know, your vision better, but it's, you know, but yeah. Okay, so what are you saying here? Tons in YMAX, maybe less than 10% WPay, K-Yield, ULTY combined as I build out each as a supplement to the softer paying weeks of YMAX. I have, yeah, YSPY's actually been surprisingly good. I had that too and did really well. And Maggie, I'm not in on the Maggie revolution, but I mean, I know a lot of people are, as well as upsize the weaker on the YMAX weeks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, your largest holding CLM, of course, that's a great one to have. I mean, CLM, a 4-star, it has more history than any of these. I mean, these covered call funds will do well when they're supposed to do well, when it's the right market environment for covered calls, which is kind of a volatile market environment where rates are higher, you know, and also you need a bullish environment, let's face it. So they'll do well as long as they're supposed to do well. All right. Making sure I didn't miss any other comments. All right, it looks like I have all the comments down. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really excited about this. I expect all you guys to be there, because we can ask questions to the fund managers too. It's going to be a good time. They'll be answering questions in the comments. So, you know, and each fund manager is only on for 20 minutes. So if it's a fund manager from a fund you don't care about, that's fine, but you can come back in 20 minutes and maybe the next fund manager will be a fund that you do care about or something. So we aren't going to let the fund managers monopolize our fund. This is for the influencers and for you guys. But we'll give the fund managers a chance to stop by, and we can tell them what we think of their funds. And I'm sure we will. All right, Mark. Hey, you guys, thank you very much. I'm going to let you guys get out of here. You guys have a good day. I'll be back this evening at about 4 or 5, and we'll pick up where we left off. And hopefully I'll get this video out on ULTY. Like I say, I'm almost scared to put it out. If I put it out, all I'm going to do is answer questions all weekend long. Comments all week, nasty comments from the people that love ULTY. But I'm also going to be answering on the other side too, because life's not binary. Things don't exist on a yes or no. Things are, you know, in real life, things have good elements and things have bad elements. But anyway, I use the data to explain it. So hopefully it'll be good. And I guess that's my job, to sit around and answer. That is an influencer's job, is to sit around and answer, you know, comments from people that disagree with you all weekend. So I'm happy to do it. But like I say, I'm afraid on this one, I'm going to make no one happy. I'm trying to get to 5,000 by Christmas. So I'll probably end up getting a lot of cancellations. But I'm not really worried. I'm more worried that people know the truth about these. I mean, you know, and understand how they work and stuff like that. I was just going to check really quick. Let's see how many subscribers I'm at right now. Your videos. I just think it'd be cool to get to 5,000 by Christmas because I hit 4,000 in October, and I'd have just made it my goal to get to 5,000. But like I say, I'd rather have less people that are serious than just have a lot of people that aren't serious people. So I mean, but anyway, yeah, 49.90. So I'm 10 away. But yeah, I made some people mad the other day. I had like 5 cancellations after I put out a video. Oh, well, I mean, I can't I'm not trying to just, I mean, I go wherever the data leads. Sometimes the data agrees with people and sometimes it doesn't. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. And barring any last minute questions, I'm going to get out of here and I will let you go. Remember, not financial advice. Also remember, you can support the station at paypal.me. Max Convexity, if you so choose. If not, hit like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.